Brett is such bright light.
What we do in therapy is nothing compared to what me and Brett did today.
Thank you, Brett.
Hey guys, Coach Brett here. Welcome back to another episode. Happy to have you here. My goal here is to make you feel confident as a man more than you already are. I'm sure you already have a base level of confidence. To get paid to play, okay? And then also to feel connected to yourself and with the world. We need more connection in this world. I'm obsessed with finding ways to do that, increasing my power, the power that I have as a man to create and affect change in my life. And so I'm gonna share some stuff with you today. In this episode, we're talking about the lover. And the lover is a powerful, powerful archetype that everybody has. So you might be a man and you might be thinking, I don't have the lover archetype. That's not who I am. I'm a man, you know? Men don't do all that touchy-feely shit. Well, if you're one of those guys, you're gonna get a reality check super quick because everybody has a lover within them. And it's actually part of being what Robert Moore calls a mature masculine to have access to your lover. The lover is needed in our lives. If you're just the warrior or the king or the magician all the times, which by the way, this will be a different video, but it's about setting boundaries, containment, order, and the lover seems to oppose all of them. The lover is boundless. The lover is infinite. The lover has a connection to everything in his life. The lover is what connects you to your cock and your sexual energy, your sensuality, your pleasure, your emotions, what you feel. This is what the lover energy does and can bring into your life. Now, if you can access the lover in its fullness, they call it, then you're gonna have happiness, you're gonna have joy, you're gonna feel aligned and connected. But if you let the shadow sides of these lovers take a hold of you, then you're gonna have some problems. So what are the shadow sides? Shadow sides are as follows. You have a more passive shadow side of the lover, which is called the impotent lover, and you have a more active side of the lover called the addicted lover. So you have the impotent lover and you have the addicted lover. Which one are you? The impotent lover is the one who feels depressed. This is the one who feels no zest for life. They might feel hunger without an appetite. They might feel just kind of bleh, lying down, unmotivated, not really wanting to do anything. And then that's the passive side. On the other side, we have the addicted lover. Tons of zest for life. In fact, the addicted lover is the one who has addictions, who wants to experience every pleasure and wants an endless orgasm. Don't let the pleasure stop. This is also the one who jacks off consistently, habitually, chronically. The one who chases women and can't ever stop and relax, just needs to always be feeling some pleasure. And if they're not, then they feel like something's missing and they go for the next thing. The lover helps you tap into your creative talents and abilities, but it can also give you access, it gives you access to the subconscious, really, the feminine. And they talk about the addicted lover being so connected to the feminine, there's no boundaries, there's no conscious ego structures to block that subconscious feminine flow of just feeling everything, going with the wind. And that creates problems in your life because you have duties and responsibilities. Everybody does, you have to attend to. And if you're only in your lover, if you're only going after pleasure, then you're gonna cause destruction for yourself and for others. That's a base, and I invite you to see in your life which part you're in. And if you really wanna get the tools and the insights from this, I do recommend you just read the book about the four archetypes, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. It's by Robert Moore. You can easily find it on Amazon, and he's a real expert. I wouldn't call myself an expert by any means, but he's the real expert. So if you want to dive deeper, definitely check out the book. My 3-day experience, I'm gonna do 12 days, and for 3 days in those 12 days, I'm gonna do each of the 4 archetypes. In the last 3 days, I've been doing the lover. In the last 3 days, I've been feeling into my sense perceptions more like a lover would. I use weed, I smoked some weed to drop me in to experience a high. I was watching more porn than I ever have. I was on dating apps. I was trying to experience the intensity of the lover. Pleasure to pleasure, sexual pleasure, then food pleasure. It was a high pleasure last few days, and honestly, I'm super drained of it. I'm filming this on day 3, and I can definitely see how when we do all those pleasures, it takes us back on this cycle, back to the impotent lover, back to like this depression or low state, because so much pleasure, there's gonna be a drop. You can't just have constant pleasure. In fact, those of you that know about the effects of porn know that when you see a new woman, it gives you an increase in dopamine. Every time you look at porn, new woman, naked woman, breast, vagina, hardcore, Asian, all these categories, it just dopamine. And then what happens is your brain that wants to come back to normal balance of dopamine is like, screw this, man, this is not healthy for us. We gotta cut off these dopamine receptors here. We gotta limit the amount of dopamine because there's so much produced. And then you don't have properly regulated cycles of dopamine. You don't have that ability to just relax, to not be stimulated. And so you can find yourself much more unmotivated when you're going through your life. Okay, so I can actually see how the addicted lover, the intensity, the push of that comes back to the impotent lover, comes back to this depressed lack of zest because it's just, I'm done. I need to just do nothing. And which, by the way, gave me a new insight into depression. Maybe it's not a bad thing to feel depressed. You know, maybe if you feel depressed, it's a good thing. Maybe it's telling you need to just relax and stop pleasuring yourself so much. Stay there, just lie there for a bit. Put on some nice music and just actually relax. Which, by the way, now I'm getting into it. These are some of the ways you can begin to overcome this. So if you find yourself constantly chasing porn or some addiction, or you're having women problems, trouble opening your heart, or maybe you're the person who's more depressed, I'm gonna give you 2 insights for each shadow pole for how you can change that, okay? So I'll start with the addicted lover. There's 2 main ways I'm gonna share with you that are very potent, I think, to help this addicted lover become more of a lover in its fullness, more of a grounded lover, who's also connected to his warrior, who can cut off and detach, who's also connected to his magician and to his king for more order and structure, which according to them is what you want. Because I tried the pleasure for the last 2-3 days, and I'm ready for a freaking break. Okay, it's enough pleasure for me. Okay, so here's the first way to do it. The first way is what Bessel van der Kolk, who's a trauma researcher, would call the top-down approach, learning to self-regulate using mindfulness. When you notice yourself going into that pattern of addiction or pleasure or escape, instantly catch yourself and bring out your inner warrior and detach, cut, decide. I'm not doing that pleasure, I'm cutting that pleasure, and I'm gonna do this instead that's better for me. It's just making that decision to not do it, and the warrior is all about detachment, right? The warrior, you need that detachment of the warrior. The warrior is non-emotional, the warrior is detached. And you need that non-emotional detachment so you can get enough separation from it so that you can do what's good for you, do some of the other parts of life that isn't just constantly chasing pleasure. I love this quote, it's from Preston Smiles. He's like, elevation requires separation. Elevation requires separation. Separating from these pleasures, separating from these habitual addictions, separating from chasing women, separating enough that you can get some groundedness, some clarity. There's no clarity when you're the addicted lover. You're just constantly in sense perceptions. You know, you're searching, you're surfing, you're everywhere. But you're not detached and separate and grounded. Most of you that want clarity have an addicted lover that you haven't tamed. And when you can tame that addicted lover, you're gonna find more clarity in your life. The second way you do that is through what Bessel van der Kolk would call the bottom-up approach, which is starting with the body, which means finding healthy ways to express your lover. Like me, during the 3-day challenge, I was cooking, I was dancing, I was singing, spent time deeply listening to people, feeling into my body, doing breath work, yoga, meditating, sitting in a steam room. These are all ways you can use to drop into your body that are healthy for you. And you can probably see how jerking off to porn 3 times a day is much different than going for a workout in a sauna and then go for a steam after. Both connect you to your body, both change your biochemistry, but one is porn in your bed, depleting your resources. One is physical exercise and steam room, which is increasing your resources, increasing your energy, right? Those are 2 ways if you're the addicted lover that I recommend you coming back to your center. But if you're the impotent lover, if you find yourself being depressed and unmotivated, here are 2 ways that you can get yourself back. The first way is do something like super wild and crazy that brings back your aliveness to life. Go surfing for a week. Just say fuck it and pay for a week-long surfing retreat. Or come to a retreat like something I might run, like a men's work retreat. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. Push yourself. Do some mushrooms. Do a guided mushroom trip with somebody who really knows what they're doing. Don't just do it by yourself, especially if it's your first time. Find someone who knows what they're doing and get them to guide you through it. You can have like a huge party, drink a bunch of alcohol, and I usually never recommend these things, but if you're someone who doesn't have a history with addiction with alcohol, or somebody that doesn't have a history of addiction with smoking weed, you can use some of these compounds and substances to get you a little bit wild and crazy, get some aliveness back into you. Never forget that your true aliveness, it always came from you. You don't need a substance, you don't need mushrooms or weed or alcohol to bring it out. You can bring it out by yourself. Breathwork, excitement, deciding to, woo! You can bring these energies out, but the substances can just be a nice lubricant to help get you there. But don't think that these are the things that are making you like this. It's really you. The alcohol is just giving you the excuse, or the weed or the mushrooms, okay? And then the last thing is just kind of commit to stop and smell the roses for a week. Just take in more of life. Watch the sunset. Listen to the birds chirp for 5 minutes. Just take more time to really feel into life and be present. Because oftentimes, I can imagine an impotent lover, someone who's depressed, is constantly in their head thinking negative thoughts, as opposed to letting the thought cycle subside and just take life in. That is it. Those are your ways that you can stop bringing the shadows of the lover out and bring in some more of the healthy lover. The lover is what will bring you the relationships you want in your life, that will connect you to your purpose, that will help you do more for the world, that will help connect you to meaning. It is an incredible gift that we need to tap into more collectively, and so these are some of the ways you can do it. So I hope this was valuable for you. We'll probably be having the Warrior, Magician, and King coming soon, but if you liked it, give a comment. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. If you really enjoyed it, share it with a friend and help grow this channel and support me. This is my life and what I love to do. So thank you for watching and following along, and I'll see you on the next one.